on this wonderful Easter holiday. Hope you're all having a great day. Shame about the weather. But first of all, can I welcome our new members? Welcome to the group. I hope you will enjoy it and you will share your experiences, your stories, everything spooky. So today is just a bit of a quick catch up in with you guys and talking about demons and evil entities and of course your poltergeists. Now, as of yet, I very nearly did come into contact with an evil entity on an investigation, but it didn't go bad. You know, it just wasn't that very nice experience. So what is a demon? What is it? What do we decipher it as? Now, in my eyes, and it's just my view, a demon is something that is classed not human, that has come from another world, and it's really nasty and it's really bad. They can cause havoc, they can cause pain, misery, and over the years demonic entities have all been relayed as this big massive guy with covered in blood, all red, big horns and wings and everything. But I don't think they are. I think demonic entities, yes, they are nasty spirits. Yes, they are bad and they can cause problems and everything. But the devil moves in mysterious ways. So they can be very much manipulative. They can be very much tricksters. They can fool you. So yeah. Hello Paul, how you doing? It's right, the camera's just fiddling itself out. So how do we know if these such entities or demonic creatures are real? Well, we've all seen the films, you know, that the devil or drag me to hell, or you know, those sort of things. Can you summon demons? Yes, you can. Can you do it through a spirit board? Yes, you can, but that's not always the case. Demons are spiritual beings that you can summon anytime. Hi Donna, hi Katie. So yeah, so I've done a lot of research and I've gone on to a lot of demonologists and had words with them. And say if you're doing a spirit board session, which I will be doing a spirit board session very soon, these demons can come through. Now, I don't really know much about demonic entities or evil entities, but they are bad. They are absolutely horrific. And this is in the same league as poltergeists. Now, is there a hell? Do we go to hell? Do bad people go to hell? Who knows? So everybody knows the best demon out there is Satan. Now, people probably class Satan as the most powerful devil or the most demonic entity out there. He is like the king, the hierarchy of all evil, of all hell. Now, yes, some people speculate that he's this big red guy with horns and everything, but it all depends how you portray the devil. You see, it's just me, but I've been watching this series on Netflix called Lucifer. Okay, now if you are familiar with the programme, you'll know that it's about a guy that's actually the devil, but he's now been reborn to do good. And, you know, every person that you speak to about demonic entities, they're like, oh, it's the devil, the big horns, red face. I think you could be talking to someone who you think is human, natural, when in fact you're actually talking to a demonic entity or a demon. The worst demon that you could possibly come across is Zozo. Now, Zozo to me is real. Zozo is the pinnacle of Satan. Satan's just the big man that sits on this big hell throne we all know about and just says, right, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, you cause havoc to this, you cause havoc to them. Zozo is a common demonic spirit that comes through. He can trick you, he can fool you, he can seduce you, he can make he can shapeshift, he can come to you in many, many different forms. Now, it's not really a demonic entity that you want to come into. I mean, you have got your others. You've got your people like your Lucifer, you've got your Beelzebub, you've got your Zafar, you've got all these. So the more names, it's like the lower ranking of the devil. So obviously Satan is the hierarchy, then you've got Zozo, and then you've got all the others. Why is the number 13 and why is 666 associated with the devil? That is a means of communication ways, of summoning the devil, you know, pentagrams and, you know, all of that. It's my view on demons is, yes, they do exist, you know, and they are nasty creatures and they can cause havoc and pain, but as of yet I've really not come into contact with such a demonic spirit. Yes, I've had a bit twitchy times with some investigations I've done, but it's never been too bad. Now, obviously, demons are, so to speak, folklore, and they are meant to do with the elements of the world. So you've got your earth, your air, your fire, your water. And everybody thinks hell is just hell. So what other demons do you have around? So obviously you've got your Lucifer, you've got your Beelzebub, you've got Abaddon, Belphegor and Asmodeus, or however you pronounce it. These are portrayed as the 7 deadly sins. So you've got like your gluttony, you've got your greed, you've got your lust, you've got your pride, you've got... If you've ever seen the film Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks, that explains it all, so go and watch that. So, when it comes to encountering with a demon or negative energy, what do we do? How do we deal with it? Well, the first thing is the St. Michael's protection prayer. Now, I have been learning this in Latin because a lot of spirits, especially demonic ones, they will speak in Latin and they will come through in different language. So it's always good to know the Michael's prayer in Latin. Sprinkle yourself with holy water wherever you're doing it, and if you come into contact with them, you know the area. Cleanse yourself with holy water, sprinkle it with holy water, keep reciting St. Michael's prayer, say the Lord's prayer, because especially Zozo, because that's the main popular demon, he will feed off fear, as all demons do, and negative energies. If you're frightened of them, they will know that, and they will basically, haha, you're scared of me, right, let's see what havoc I can cause you. And on investigations, if I've ever come across a negative energy or a demonic one, then you have to stand your grounds. You have to be firm. You have to show them that you are not scared of them and that they have no power over you. You can't control them. You can't let them come into your life. They do not have the power, and you have got to state that when you come into contact with a negative energy. State your grounds that, you know, you're not having any of it. You know, you can affect me, you can do what you want, blah, blah, blah. Be careful when you say that, because if you ask them to affect you, then you are giving them permission to basically do bad things. You know, you can get your biting, your scratching, your 3 scratch marks that are associated with the devil, you know, the bruising, the cuts, unforeseen injuries, you know, all of that. Always, always sage yourself and stuff around you and equipment that you're using. Some paranormal investigators absolutely totally think once you've got a demonic entity attached to you, you can't get rid of it. You can, but hi Jane, how you doing? Hope all is well, lovely. You can get rid of it, but then if it gets out of hand, then you have to search and seek advice as from a priest, or if you're of the Jewish faith, then a rabbi. So yeah, so that's about demons. Now the next thing I want to talk about is poltergeists. So again, what do we class as a poltergeist? Is it something nasty? Is it something evil? No, I don't think it is. But this is just my opinion. I'm just saying that. So what is a poltergeist? What does poltergeist stand for? Well, back, way back in Victorian and Edwardian times, just bear with me guys. Obviously the Edwardians and the Victorians, more so the Victorians, they were very, very into the paranormal. Very much so into the paranormal, and they would go around doing their seances, doing their mediumships, and I'll come back onto that in a minute. But you know, they were the ones that they could claim that they could speak to the dead, and sometimes the Victorians would share notes with each of the mediums, and then obviously someone claiming that they can speak to the dead, blah blah blah, and it comes through. So poltergeist is the German word for noisy ghost, basically. And can they cause havoc? Yes. Are they mischievous? Yes. Do you want to come across one? I don't know. I've never come across one as yet. How do we know we've got them? So basically, if you think you've got a poltergeist, or there's something going on in your house, environment, building, wherever, first things first, you've got to look at the minor stuff that they will do. So they could perhaps make knocking sounds, or they could knock on things, or you know, they could move things. So you put something down, you come back 5 minutes later and it's gone, and then you're left scratching your head thinking, well, I'm sure I put that down there, I'm sure I did this. And you know, sometimes they can make lights flicker, they can make power sources drain, die, they can do all sorts. So animalistic psychology can be explained about these so-called poltergeist feelings and everything. And a lot of the insects of the paranormal world, these parapsychologists, have all said, oh, it's all to do with the mind, you know, the person who thinks they've got poltergeist attachments or poltergeists in their house, they're having a stressful time, they're going through a bit of stress, a bit of trauma. And obviously, like I said before, your mind is very, very clever, and your mind will play tricks on you. So it may mean you might have, I'm not saying you have, but you might have moved something and obviously not remembered where you've put it, or you hear a noise, or you know, something like that. Everybody thinks poltergeists are spirits to blame for everything that goes on in the area, the house, wherever. It's not. Sometimes you probably have a spirit in your house that's just residual, that's just living day to day, and they're probably not happy with you renovating, because that's another thing when activity starts. If you're in an old house and you start renovating, obviously the spirits don't like it, they get disturbed, so they, you know, they just create havoc and cause noise and disturbance and a nuisance. And you hear your things like your disembodied voices, you hear spirit noises of lower level, and like the sixth sense of the third order, which again, poltergeists are associated with the elements, like I said, your earth, your wind, your fire, your air. Now, we've all seen the famous poltergeist films with, bless her, little Heather O'Rourke, who she played the little girl Carolyn, who was caught up by these poltergeists. Now, there's not much of a little story much behind it, but during the filming, little Heather, she got very, very sick and poorly, and there was a theory that there was actually something supernatural going on while doing the filming and in the filming locations, because strange things were happening, and everybody thought that an actual poltergeist was to blame. But it turned out that, bless her, she had a very, very poorly illness, and obviously she just obviously died, bless her. And yeah, but everybody thought there was something supernatural on with that film. So you've got your famous cases. So you've got the Bell Witch of Tennessee from 1817 to, it was about 1872, when this particular witch, you know, she was capable of moving things, levitating, being really horrible and powerful. Then you've got another poltergeist experience or sighting in 1716 to 1717, and that was Epworth Rectory, where allegedly there was a very, very malicious poltergeist that really didn't like people going in, and he would really make himself known, and he would throw things, he would scratch, he would bite, he would harm you, he would do everything out of his way possible. Then you've got the Thornton Heath poltergeist, which that was in 1938. I don't really know much about that, but I will be researching. But all these cases allegedly had poltergeist activity. Then you've got your Amityville Horror. Now, that started in 1975. Whether or not that was something to do, an actual case of poltergeist haunting or what, I don't know. But these are things that, looking onto the, as an investigator, I'd like to go onto the more darker side of the paranormal and try and find out and go into depth about these demonic entities and poltergeists, and you know, hopefully I don't come face to face with one, but if I do, I'm going to know how to deal with it and how to sort it out. Then in 1977, and you had a TV series about the Enfield haunting. Now, there was something to do with the daughters. I think it was Margaret and it was Margaret and Jane, I think, the two daughters. But in 1977, obviously I was only just born then, but that became a most popular poltergeist investigation because obviously strange things were happening to these two girls. Now, they say poltergeists are more attached to women. They go for the female type, and that's because women are classed as weak, as vulnerable, gullible, you know, and they can us women can easily be manipulated by them. So theory as, do they go for women? I don't think so. They could be attached to them, but they probably don't like going towards men because obviously, now I'm not being sexist in any way, shape or form, so please don't think that. But obviously men are, you know, they can be quite authoritative, they can come across quite forceful and quite demanding, so you know, so the poltergeist think, oh well, I'm not doing them to blokes, you know, we'll go for the women. So the Enfield poltergeist, they had a lot of coverage about it and investigations about it, and parapsychologists and other so-called debunkers, if you want to call them. Now, over the years, from 77 to about 79, I think it was, maybe 1980, something like that, I'm not sure. But there was a lot of activity going on surrounding these two girls. Now, obviously they had investigations in and everything, and these parapsychologists, the insects, I don't like them, I refuse to speak about them. They have actually had the theory, and they could not explain why these things were happening. And towards the end, when everything started to die down, from what I can gather, it was they had some sort of urn with some sort of ashes in that belonged to the deceased, and they were the one that were causing the hauntings, the poltergeist activity. And obviously since then they removed them, things started to calm down. So that was a bit of a head scratcher. That was, well, actually maybe there is such things as poltergeists. And then of course you've got your 30 East Drive, which is happening from 1960s, I'm sure it was the 60s that it all started, with Joe and Jean Pritchard and their daughter Diane, and obviously their son Philip. Now, I don't really know, this is going on to the present day, and I want to go there, and I will go there, but I've got to know what I'm dealing with, because I have looked into it, I have looked into going, and you have to sign so many forms, so many disclaimers, and you know, it really is pretty bum twitchy stuff. So Well, I think I'll just leave that for now. So, Halloween and All Saints Day is obviously, as we know, a day that the dead can walk amongst the living. And this is when poltergeists are allegedly. It's right, if you keep me looking over, I'm just keeping my eye on Ree because she's over there. These are all times associated with poltergeists and spirits and demonic and whatsoever. Now, do they all come out at Halloween and is it All Saints Day? Poltergeists are just annoyed spirits. They obviously had some sort of trouble in their life, and while they were in the human world on this earth, something probably tragically happened to them and they don't like it. So they come back as poltergeists. Do I really think poltergeists are dangerous? Yes, I do, but then on the other hand, you've got to look into it and find out, why are they dangerous? Why are they doing this? What's causing them to do this? And like I've said, as a paranormal investigator, you know, I'm not the top of the range. I'm no perfectionist about it. I don't know much about it. I'm learning. And this is what investigators do. We learn and we study and we research. You know, we like to understand things that can't be explained. So, do I think poltergeists exist? Yes, I do. Do I think they're bad? Not all the time, because they're just like any other spirits. They want you to know that they're there, and if you ignore it, then they'll start doing more things like, okay, so you're ignoring me, so the next thing I'll do, I'll open a cupboard door and I'll throw pans out, or I'll throw cups across the room and everything. And I want to decipher, and I want to get down to the bottom, is why such entities like these, and demons and your demonic entities, why are they here? What is their purpose apart from causing pain and havoc and illness and tragedy? And you know, it's, I don't know, this is where I'm struggling a bit now, because as a paranormal investigator, it's not just a case of going to somewhere, doing your voice, your spirit box, your DVR, you're doing your SLS, you're doing your ghost tube, whatever. It's actually finding out why spirits haunt the place. Why are they there? What are they there for? What's their purpose? And, you know, to be honest, I wouldn't mind having a spirit in the house, but I'd tell it who's boss. I'd be like, no, this is my house, get on with it, you know. You're quite happy to stay, but just don't cause any trouble. So yeah, so do poltergeists exist? Are they bad spirits? Are they like demons? Who knows? Everybody's got their opinion. Now, thank you, Rianne. Thank you very much. Right, so conclusion. Do we think poltergeists really are bad? Do we think that they are negative spirits? Yes. Do you think they can cause harm and upset? Yes. Do you think we can try and communicate more with them and understand them more? Definitely. Do I want to come into contact with Zozo? I don't know. And like I say, when I do my spirit board session, and I will be doing it, because I'm not scared to use a Ouija board. I've got one, as you've probably seen in my other video. I've got a Ouija board. I've got it in the house. I'm not afraid to use it. I haven't used it yet, but I'm not going to use it just yet. But they say Zozo comes through from the spirit board. So if I start doing a spirit board session, and straight away, that's right, they do probably, Katie, they do have a backstory. And this is one of the things that, as an investigator, this is like what we like to know. take the painting of the crying boy, okay? This is a typical, like, poltergeist, spirit, demonic painting. Now, allegedly, this spirit of the little boy, he caused a lot of pain with the artist that was portraying him, and he caused his studio to burn down, and apparently his spirit is trapped in the painting, and his spirit is attached to the painting. Now, he doesn't like anybody being happy, so if you've got that painting, you know, everybody associates it with fire, and he does cause fires. He's a demonic spirit that has obviously attached itself to the painting, and he doesn't like to see anybody happy. But why was that? Because he was an unloved little boy that no one cared for him. So if he's not happy, why should everybody else be happy? And I think this is what poltergeists are. They're just spirits that need to be understood. You know, yeah, they probably scare the living shit out of you, but, you know, with any spirits, don't be afraid. You know, talk to them, speak to them, try and communicate with them. If they start turning arsey, just like, yeah, whatever, go away and do one. Stand your ground and tell them you don't want to talk to them. Now, going back to the spirit board, like I said, I will be using the spirit board, and I will be using it with the lovely Paul, and we will find a location to do it. Now, if we do come into contact with the spirit of Zozo, that will happen by the planchette will either move in a rainbow motion, so it will go like that sort of way, or it will go to ZO, ZO, and if it rapidly does a figure of 8 on the spirit board, immediately I'm going to close the session, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to remove the planchette from the board. So, demonic spirits, can they come through a spirit board? I'd say yes and no. It all depends how you want to decipher Zozo. If you're one of these people that want to learn about the dark arts, and you want to get into all the witchcraft and the occult and the Satanism and everything, then yeah, you're probably going to be asking for trouble. But I don't think all demonic spirits are really demonic. Some of them probably just want to be heard, and they want their story to be told. And it's like with serial killers and all these murderers and everything. Look back at their history. What was their childhood like? You know, understand them more. And like I said, as a paranormal investigator, this is what we do. This is what I do, and this is why I have a love for it. And yes, I work with Paul, and I will be working with Paul a lot more. And like I say, he's a brilliant guy. You know, any questions you need answering, you go and speak to him, because I'm not the one who can probably deal with these entities, but he can, because he's got his spirit guide, and because he's a medium, he knows how these things work. I'm learning from him, and yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I think demons do, but all spirits have got to have had a story behind them. All of them have got to have some sort of trauma in their life. I mean, for everyone that really doesn't like me, when I die, I'm going to come back and bloody haunt them, the lot of them. And then am I going to be a nasty spirit? No, I think I'll be quite humorous, actually. May cause the odd bit of trouble, I don't know, but that's just me. So yeah, so that was today's video. Poltergeist, demonic entities. If you've got any comments or any thoughts on this, you know, drop them on the group. What are your views on them? Because I'd love to hear from you all. And as of yet, I've got to come into contact with a demonic entity. I've had the few negative ones comes through, but I'm not explaining what happened. I could do, but then I don't want to, because it shook me up. It didn't scare me, it shook me up, let's put it that way. And it wasn't a very nice experience, but it wasn't bad. I dealt with it. So yeah, so that's today. So yeah, if you've got any other questions or anything else you want to ask, like I say, if you can't ask me, then ask Paul. You know, he's the one that's helping me understand more about the paranormal, and obviously I'm talking with parapsychologists, historians, and hopefully demonologists. And you know, it's a lot. Paranormal investigation is not just going out to places and saying, oh, I think this place is active and I think we've got a ghost here. It's research. You've got to do your research. It's not a case of, yes, I like going to cemeteries, I like going to places like that and investigating, because like the history of the churches, what's the history within the spirit of the church? Why is that particular spirit in that church? What is it that grounds them to the church? What is it that they like about the church? And you know, I'm so passionate about this hobby of mine, and I absolutely love it, and I like to do a lot of research and to know the place before I get involved with it. And I will be doing more investigations, because obviously the kid's back at school next week, so yeah, get on with some investigations. So yeah, so that's basically today's view and another catch up with you guys. And like I say, I hope you've all had a lovely Easter, and if you've got Easter eggs, obviously don't overindulge. Be safe, take care, and yeah, like I say, if you've got any questions or anything you want to know, you know, if I can't help you, Paul will. If you've got any problems that you need help with, go and speak to Paul. You know, you can come speak to me, you know. And we're not like the Ghostbusters of rugby, you know. We will find out the truth for you. So if you do have a location that's haunted and you want some answers, you know, let me know, let Paul know, and we will try and get to you to try and understand why you have these hauntings, why you have these spirits, you know, what's the reason for being. But yeah, so yeah, that will be it. So hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I say, welcome to all our new members. Please feel free to share your stories, experiences, or anything you've got that's spooky related. So yeah, we'll go on from there. So yeah, have a great evening. Bloody hell, it's only 2 o'clock. Right, have a great afternoon. Please stay safe. You know, if you are out and about, please be good. Please have your cameras ready, because you never know where you're going to catch something. If you catch something, you know, always have your phones or your cameras ready. You're alright, Chris, lovely. Well, there you go. You know, obviously I'm still learning, and that's just part of being a paranormal investigator. So, do demons exist? Yes. Do poltergeists exist? Yes. Can they cause us harm? Yes, no. Are they capable of levitating, throwing things? Yes, no. And the thing with me, until I actually see it and experience it for myself, then the jury's still open on that one. But yes, we do have demonic entities. I've come in contact with negative energies, but yet a demonic one. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. So hope you all have a great afternoon and have a great evening. And like I say, check out Paul if you've got any questions or anything you need answering. Check him out and go on from there. So yeah, have a great afternoon, and I will speak with you guys very soon. Love to you all. Bye.